Hello guys and girls, welcome back. Now what do you think the Royal Navy centenary coin has in common, or what is the link between that and the village of Alton in Hampshire? That's Alton. Well, in fact it's Sweet Fanny Adams. Fanny was born on the 30th of August 1859 and was baptised on the 31st of July 1859 in Alton. She lived in Tanhouse Lane with her parents and siblings. Her parents were George and Harriet Adams. You can see these all on the 1861 census. And also living in Tanhouse Lane at that time were both sets of grandparents. And that was George's parents, the Adams, and I believe Harriet's parents were the Mitchells. Now, poor Fanny Adams was brutally murdered and dismembered on the 24th of August 1867 in the hop field between Alton and Sheldon. She was murdered by solicitor's clerk Frederick Baker. Her body parts were later gathered and taken to the Leathern Bottle, a drinking house, so the coroner could determine the cause of death. Her body parts were actually sewn back together, and the cause of death was said to be stabbing. So the link, which is pretty awful, I have to say, should come with a warning, I think, before I tell you. Fanny was murdered in 1867, and about this time, the British seamen were provided with large tins of mutton as part of their rations, and it was notoriously bad. And there were lots of complaints about it, but they referred to the contents as Sweet Fanny Adams. That's the actual link. Now the meat came in, or the mutton came in large tins, which were used as cooking pots, and then these cooking pots in turn were cut down and used as mess tins, and they were also known as fannies. But haven't found a reference to that anywhere else. But the mess tins looked like half of a large tin, so and they fit in together inside each other. I don't know if you've seen those, but you can see why they were, where they came from. They were actually cut out of large tins. So that's the dreadful link, and that's, they say, is where their saying comes from. I know. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, and I'm just gathering bits of information. All I know is that poor Sweet Fanny Adams was an actual person. She did live. There's evidence of her in the census, and there's lots of reference in newspapers, etc., to do with poor Fanny's death. So I hope you enjoyed that bit of history, guys and girls. Now to the coin. So the link between Sweet Fanny Adams and a sad story of her life and death, and the British seamen and their poor rations. Okay, there we are. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my previous, what do we call them, history lessons, didn't we? I did the Royal Navy. But basically, I wanted to cover the story of Sweet Fanny Adams because it's such a well-known saying, but I've never associated it with the Navy. There we are. Okay, so let me tell you about the coin. 2015, yes, early 15, and the first 100 was struck to be given away at the Visitors Centre at HMS Belfast in London. The coin itself, let's say dated 2015, depicts a generalised battleship, and here's a picture of one I found earlier. Oh, you thought I was going to say Drew, didn't you? So there we are. That's looks very similar to this ship on here, doesn't it? You can see the lifeboats, you can see the gun turrets, you can see the rangefinder platform at the top, you can see the searchlight even on the thingy. Let me just have a look at with the eyeglass. Can you see it if I show you? I don't think you can, you know. I don't think you can see the searchlight. Oh, that's a nice shot. Look at that. I hope that's in focus for you. That's too glary. Okay. Sorry, my computer's just gone off. I wanted to come back on. There we are. Okay. So you've got good detail. Look at the detail, and you can see the ship in the picture. Very, very similar. So I think it's just the class of ship that it's based on rather than any one named ship. Okie dokie, so 650,000 minted of this coin and 100 early strikes were given away. I don't know whether there's any difference in those coins, do you know? If you do, if you put it in the comments below, I really appreciate that sort of information, because it would be interesting to search out anything that's just a little bit different, whether is there a different. They are 2015 and not 2016. No, it's 2015. I was just checking them for a minute, thinking that the early ones might have been 2015 and then they weren't released until 2016. But no, that's not right. They went into circulation in 2015. Whew. Well, there's nearly a bit of interest in. I haven't had an interesting discovery for ages. That's why the Fanny Adams story has come out. So my thanks to the ladies at the museum in Alton for the leaflets, the information and the chat. It was very nice. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And also to whoever drew this sketch. There's no copyright on there. There's no name on there. There's no details on there. There's nothing to say that I can't copy it. And it's all the interesting buildings. I'll move that out your way now. You can have a look at some of the buildings. There we are. So as I say, you can see the grave of Sweet Fanny Adams in the churchyard in Alton, or you can even see it on the net if you just Google it, and you'll find all the information. There's a big bit on Wikipedia, and that does have, I believe, a picture of her gravestone, her headstone on there. Well, thanks very much for popping in. As usual, I appreciate it. I love your company. It's great chatting to you, and the story I've found fascinating, but what an awful story. Makes you think, I'm not going to repeat that saying again, doesn't it? Or it does me. There we are. Take care until the next time, guys and girls. Bye bye.